I'm dying. Oh my God. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I apologize if the lighting is gonna be wild. It's kind of like late and I don't know why I'm filming this at this time, but I wanted to tell you about my experience at Avengers Campus on opening day and maybe give some tips and tricks if you were planning on going to Avengers Campus. So if you're interested, then keep watching. Okay, so the first thing I want/need to say is that I was one, lucky, and also very much planned ahead and spent a lot of money for this to be an easier thing for me to do. So to put it into perspective, I was staying at the Grand Californian that night. So it opened on the 4th. We got a night for the 4th into the 5th. So that led to me having a lot of benefits, I guess I would say, in my arrival and making things a little bit more seamless and easy for me. So take what I say, use the advice if you want to do that, or just recognize that my experience wasn't the generic experience. Where do I even begin? So I woke up at 5 a.m. and I picked up my friend Erin, who you've seen before, at 6 o'clock, and we drove to the Grand Californian. So we got there at like 6:35, 6:40-ish, and we, valeted the car because they were like, oh, well, self-park is across the street. And I was like, we have 15 minutes until the Webslingers goes live. Like, we can't. We paid the $35 for valet instead of the $25 for self-parking. That $10 was worth the time. I very much believe that, and I will stand by that. So we get in the hotel lobby. I had already done online check-in, and so basically I was just chilling there, waiting, trying to find the best service to get the Webslingers boarding group. Why? Because I really didn't want my day to be spent worrying about whether or not I could get into the Avengers Campus. Something to note. To get into Avengers Campus, you must either get a Webslingers boarding group or wait in a standby line. And since it was the first day, I didn't know how long this line was going to be. Even though I knew we were gonna be like some of the first people in, I didn't know how many people they were gonna let in. And I'm glad that I was thinking like that wasn't an option in my head. I mean, it was a backup option, but I'm glad that I was thinking that way because it ended up being a nightmare, worse than I actually imagined. So we're in the lobby and we're looking for good service. I find a place that has like 5 bars, full bars of service. And then there was this other guy and I'm standing there looking at my phone being like, oh God, I don't even know how to do this. Like, I've gotten the Rise of the Resistance boarding group before once, and I was just really stressed out, worrying that I wasn't gonna be able to get it. And so we saw this guy and we asked him for some advice. I will share that advice with you. So as you know, at 7 a.m., if you have a DCA reservation, you can get the Webslingers boarding group at 7 a.m. At 12 noon, then you can get it again as long as you've already logged in? As long as you've already checked into the park. So this is the advice he gave me. I'm gonna get close because I just wanna show you. So on the app, oh my God, I look crazy. Should I not film this right now? Should I put on some makeup? I look tired. Oh, I look really tired. The lighting is bad. I'm gonna put on some makeup. Hold on. Okay, so we're gonna ignore the brief change. I did put on some chapstick and some mascara to make myself look less dead. I'm not refilming the intro because I don't care that much, but I actually did care a little bit. That's why I did it. Anyways, so on your Disney app, what you need to do is go to the virtual queues. Now there are 2 sections now that there are multiple parks that have virtual queues. So you go to California Adventure Park. So as I mentioned, at 7 a.m. and at noon, you can get a boarding group. These sell out in like literal seconds. I'm talking probably like 3 seconds and they're gone. So you have one chance to get it. So here's the advice we got in the Grand Californian, and it worked for us, so I'm gonna pass it along to you. One of the things I already knew was as soon as it turns like the minute before, count in your head so you know exactly when it's going to turn. Now, other people say to look at the world clock and all that stuff, fine. But I found that counting myself was good. But here's the key. What you do is instead of like when it turns 7, going like this and swiping down to refresh, hold it. And just hold it down. And then as soon as you see, oh my God, whoa, it's gonna be 7 right now. We should do it. This was very unplanned. It's almost 7 o'clock. I'm not gonna wait till 7 because that doesn't make any sense because nothing will pop up. But anyways, as soon as it says 7, up 7, you let go and it'll already start refreshing. And then don't think, just click. Don't even read. If there's a blue button, click, click, click. So the first button will say join boarding group. Then the next button will say, pick your group, it already will pre-select all of the people who have tickets that have reservations in the park that day. You don't need to double check. Do not take a millisecond to look at it. Just as soon as you click join, click like this and wait. There will be a button here and just keep clicking, keep clicking. Every time I've gotten it, I don't even know if I get it because I'm clicking so fast that I'm not reading anything that comes up on the screen, and then it just goes back to the home screen and I'm like, oh my God, did I get it? Because I feel like if I didn't get it, it would have said like error or something. It would have been like, no, sorry, not available, but it just goes back to the home screen, and then I go to my queues and there it is. So anyways, that was my advice. Hold down like half refresh. It's like a half refresh. Instead of like dropping down and letting go, you're just pulling and then let go when it's 7 o'clock. That's key. I will swear by this till the day I die. So click, click, click. Don't pay attention. Don't look. Don't read anything. Click, 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 click. Cool. You get it. So I got the boarding group 20 for Webslingers, and that was unbelievable because it's a very early boarding group, and I felt the most utter relief ever. Okay, so let's flash forward into getting into the parks. I've barely begun to talk about it, but I just wanted to explain to you why my day was different, because I had the boarding group and I also was at the Grand Californian, so I didn't have to wait in any of the outside lines. The Grand Californian guests get first access into the Esplanade. So at 7:30, we were in line to go in through the Grand Californian entrance to DCA, and the guy came up and said, hey, this line isn't going to open into DCA until 8. However, the one in the breezeway that leads to downtown Disney, which thus goes to the Esplanade, is open now. If you want to already go through the temperature check and the bag check, you can go do that. And so I was like, let's do that. So we left, we did that, and we got into downtown Disney at like 7:45. We were maybe third in line to get into DCA.
85%. Third in line. Good morning. Hello. Are you excited?
Yes, I'm so excited.
Me too. Yay! It's 7:30. We'll see when they let us in.
So that was a game changer. At about 7:47, 7:50, around then, that's when they started letting the Harbor people in, and they started running. And I heard that the line at Harbor starts at like 6, if not earlier, for people to be the first ones in line at Harbor to be therefore the first ones let into the Esplanade. So just be aware of that. It gets dicey because people were running. Okay, so let's flash forward into getting into the park. The line for the Avengers Campus was wild at first. I thought it was wild. Basically, it starts right before you get to Cars Land. So if you're walking down Buena Vista Street, you pass by Carthay Circle, you can see there's an entrance to the Webslingers like virtual queue to come back, and then right past Avengers Land was the line. So it started there, but it ended up going from, by the midday, from like Soarin' area all the way around down, Hollywood Boulevard, all the way down to where Guardians is, and then wrapping around, going all the way up past, the Wine Terrace, and what else is over there? Little Mermaid, past the Zephyrs, all the way to almost the Fun Wheel, and then circling around. So the line got really, really long. It was about 7-8 hours for people getting into Avengers Campus because there was no limit. If you got into Avengers Campus with a boarding group, you didn't have to leave. There wasn't any wristbands like at Galaxy's Edge, any of that stuff. So that was stressful. I was very thankful I didn't have to wait in that. I will say opening day was cool. All the Disney execs were around. They were walking around making sure everything was going well. And when we first were let into the park, it was like before 8 o'clock. Was it? Yeah, it had to have been before 8 o'clock because I was riding Radiator Springs Racers at 8:05, riding it. Walk right on. There was 2 people in front of us. That was cool. Because again, we didn't have to worry about getting into the Marvel land because we had the Webslingers pass. Okay. The best case scenario, you guys, is get the Webslingers boarding group. If you don't get it, then I would try again at noon because that line, I would not wait in that line. Let's take a break and talk about the line. So we talked to some people at Carthay Circle at dinner later, and the line looked rough. I mean, there was no shade, there were no carts with water, and people were just stagnant. It looked like no one was moving. The line was just getting longer on the back end, and all of that was confirmed correct when I talked to the people who waited in that line. Rough stuff. They barely were letting anybody in. I think 3 hours after the opening, like the first couple people still hadn't even gotten into the land yet. So That's why we don't want to wait in that standby line. I just wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. Don't bank on going in. Try and get a Webslingers pass with the tips that I just gave you. Our boarding group called us in at, I think it was like 9:15, which is wild because the park opened at 9. Technically we were in at 8, and they said you need to arrive by like 10:09. So we rolled up, I think probably around like 9:50, and I was expecting a line for the people returning with their queue, like boarding group, and nope, no line, just here's my boarding group, and they let us straight in. It was magical, I have to say. It was really magical. The Marvel score was playing, especially like the opening theme of like when you see any Marvel movie and they have the Marvel credits with all the comic strips going through. That theme played occasionally on this loop, but when you heard that, it was just like this rush of energy. So at the very beginning, there's the Avengers Campus logo. There's a photo pass photographer taking photos and adding in little things like this little spiders from Webslingers, which was really cool. Now there's not too much in the land to do. However, the environment is very nice.
Wow. Wow.
So you have the Webslingers ride, then you have the Web Suppliers, which is basically like mostly a Spider-Man merch store, and then there's the Pim's Tasting Kitchen and Testing Lab, a ride that's to be announced later, Guardians of the Galaxy ride, which we've all known and we've been on, but they did mark it off, so you can't go on it unless you're in Avengers Campus, either by way of the boarding group or the standby line, and the Doctor Strange area. So let's talk about the ride. So the ride was really cool. The line wasn't horrible. I think it was like 30 minutes once we showed our boarding group pass. You kind of go through the back lot of the ride line because obviously with COVID there's extra distancing, and then there's a really fun pre-show when you first get in, which reminded me a lot of Guardians and Tower of Terror and stuff like that. So I'm gonna insert that here. I filmed the whole thing, so here's that.
Brought together the world's most brilliant engineers and given them access to cutting-edge resources so that they can create tech that will empower everyday people like you. Tech like me, for example. I'm Sharon, the artificial intelligence that keeps this place organized and running smoothly. Yes, Web has some of the brightest minds in the world, but I keep things around here pretty chill so the kids can create the next big idea that will give you the tools to become the next generation of heroes. We hope you have a great time on your visit to the Worldwide Engineering Brigade Open House. And now, our project lead, the brilliant, Peter Parker.
Hey, what's up? I'm Peter Parker, and here at Web we get access to some pretty awesome tech, like vibranium from Wakanda, or this crazy alien juice stuff. We have Pim particles and Stark Tech. It all helps us develop really cool stuff, like these spider bots, for example. Check it out. They have this really cool self-replicating feature. Because it's awesome. Buddy, you could stop doing that now. But anyway, you guys are here today to help us test the Web Slinger vehicle. Using onboard tech, you will be able to sling webs just like my buddy Spider-Man.
Peter, your presentation is getting away from you.
Yeah, I'm a little bit, Sharon. If you could just initiate the safety protocols, and I'll bring you.
Problem with that,
So
Peter?
anyway, if you want to sling a web, all you gotta do is sling your arm in the direction you want to shoot the web, and that's it. That's awesome.
Peter, your spider bots are continuing to replicate and are consuming everything in their path.
They seem to be stuck in self-replication mode. If you could just handle that for me, please.
On it. Contacting Mr. Stark.
Don't call me Sorry, shout. Call someone else, ask them to do it.
Okay. Contacting Spider-Man.
Here. I'm gonna go find Spider-Man for a song.
As you may have noticed, the spider bots are locked in that awesome self-replication mode. In spite of what you see, they were created to be robotic helpers that can break down raw material and create all kinds of useful tech. But because they are stuck in self-replication mode, the spider bots are currently consuming everything in sight and multiplying at an alarming rate.
Oh no!
Unchecked, my calculations predict this will lead to the devastation of the entire Avengers Campus. Should be
Oh
safe
no!
when Spider-Man gets here, as long as they don't get into the alien fluid.
Oh no!
Bigger problem. Activating threat level protocols.
Hey guys, what's up? I hear you have a phone problem. I'm here now.
You made it.
Oh god.
Threat level need some help. Perhaps I'll call the Avengers?
Don't worry, everyone. I got this.
Oh boy.
Okay, everybody. Open house is canceled.
Wise idea.
But I could use some help.
Yes, you could.
Sharon, prep the slinger vehicles.
Already on it.
Everyone head to the slingers and we'll team up to stop the spider boss before they destroy the campus.
Okay, we have a plan. Please move quickly through the doors and down the hall to the slinger vehicle bay. Your open house demo has been upgraded to a high-stakes mission.
Oh my god!
So it was really cute, and Peter Parker's just so cute. Now the ride itself, I looked up no spoilers, so if you don't want any spoilers, just fast forward just a little bit. Basically, you're in this big car, there's no seatbelt, just like a little lap bar. You wear 3D glasses and you're trying to use your spider webs to try and get all of the little like robotic spiders. And what you can do is you can shoot your web, and if you can automatically just blast something, or you can do it like at a box and then whip your arm. Oh my god, I'm still sore. And the box will go flying. Basically, you can attach the web to something and swing it around to do maximum damage.
That was difficult. My arms hurt. No rhyme or reason, I was whipping things. Did you pick things up and throw them? I threw things. Oh, you're exploding them. Oh my god. That was amazing, amazing.
Now there are other things you can get at the store to enhance the ride experience. Little attachments to your wrist that will interact with the ride, make things electricity, and other stuff. I don't know all the details because I did not do that, but it's really cool. My arms are still super sore. It's basically like a mixture between like Toy Story Midway Mania, and that's the only thing that I can think about. But it's 3D, you're kind of going from like scene to scene, but it's like kinetic. So you're using your body, and it's really cool. Definitely worth going on it. Something else I need to say, if you wait in the line in the standby, you can't go on Webslingers. The only way to go on this ride is if you get the boarding group. So if you're in that standby line, you are only getting in that standby line to go into the land. That does not allow you to go on the ride. So just be advised. Another thing you need to know, the food. All of the food needs to be ordered on mobile order, and that needs to be done like, I think they opened it at like 8, I think. So you have to look on and really plan your meals. They don't let you into the land without the boarding group or waiting in line. Like if you order something on mobile ordering, you can't just go into the land. So just be aware, if you know you're gonna be in the land at a certain time, try and aim around that time to get your food. So when we went on, I wanted to get stuff from the Pim's test kitchen, but all of those were gone. Like by the time I was looking, it was like 5:30, and I knew we were getting into the land probably around like 10 or 11, ended up being 10. And I was like, there's no way we're gonna stay in this one land until the evening time. So I pushed that aside, and I was able to get shawarma. So we did try the shawarma, the chicken one and the Impossible one. Both were really, really good. Me and my friends split them both, so we each had half. The cauliflower in the Impossible one was delicious. So highly recommend getting the shawarma. There is a cart that will have drinks though, so you can wait in a line for the like waters and sodas at the cart. Other than that, everything else is mobile ordering, so please take that into consideration. Guardians of the Galaxy, guys. Let's talk about Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy said 10-minute wait on it. It was a walk on. And the place was pretty crowded. I mean, at this point it was like, I think we went on it twice around like 11:30-ish. It said 10 minutes on it, and it was walk straight on. Like no pre-show, I think because of COVID, but just walk right in, get into the line in the elevator. There was no one behind us, no one in front of us. Amazing, rode it twice. So easy, very fun. And I mean, that was cool. I've never, aside from like early morning or late nights, I've never been able to walk straight onto Guardians, or when it was Tower of Terror for that matter. The entertainment. Let's talk about the entertainment. So seeing the new Cap, that was amazing. He was up on the top of this building. I don't even know what building it is. Like, I don't know what that, I think it's gonna be a ride, I'm not sure. So he came out, and then Captain Marvel came out a while too, sometimes with him, and they would be on different levels of this big building, and they were just waving to people. Everyone was freaking out. Because it was the first day, all the vloggers were out, me included. People just really excited to see these characters. So everyone, every time anything happened, people would just stop and they would watch. So the new Cap came out, Captain Marvel, Black Panther, Black Widow, the Wakanda women, and OG Captain America. I think those are all the people that I saw. Oh, and then the Guardians of the Galaxy. Star-Lord and Gamora did their thing in front of the Guardians ride, which is normal. I don't know if it was a different show, because I don't actually usually remember what shows they do. Sometimes the characters were down on the ground level and they would be kind of like behind a rope and people could go up and take pictures with them. I saw this happen with Black Panther and who else? The new Captain America? Yeah, I think so. And the old Captain America. OG Captain America, not old, sorry. And then Captain Marvel came out for a little bit. Yeah, okay, I think that was it. I feel like I'm forgetting someone. Did we see Iron Man? I don't remember if we saw Iron Man. Everything is a blur.
I think he waved and then I got sad.
So lots of characters out, and then there were a couple shows. The Wakanda show was amazing. So these 3 women came out and they had their spears and they walked out and it was quite a fanfare. Like all the Disney people were like, get back, but they were also in character and they were like, watch out. And then the girls walked through, the women walked through, very powerful, very regal. The music was blasting, everyone would come around. And then they would do a little show right kind of in the center and they would have audience participation in it, which was really cool. I filmed a little bit of that.
Wakanda forever! Now, to the rest of you, we ask, are you strong? Don't be shy, recruits. Are you strong? Yeah! You say yes! Yeah! Where does your strength come from? Or your courage? Our culture has been passed down from generation to generation. Through our traditions, we daughter have trained for years with the power of vibration on our side. What is the part of you that is indestructible? What is your vibration?
And then there was a Doctor Strange show. Now I didn't stick around for the Doctor Strange show because we were about to leave the land when they were starting, but it was in like the Doctor Strange Sanctum Sanctorum, whatever it is. I'm sorry guys, I'm sorry, I'm not the best. I've watched all the Marvel movies, but the canon is not great with me, to be honest. So in that area, they gathered people in, people waited in a line, and then they let everyone into this little area inside of the walls of it. I have a picture of me sitting in it before they let anybody in. But in this area, the doors open and then Doctor Strange comes out, does a show, interacts. I don't know the details. You can look up other videos for that, but I did hear it was pretty cool. In the very front of Avengers Campus, when you walk in, that's where Spider-Man comes out and does his show. He flies, he climbs, he swings, he does a lot of things, and then he has a meet and greet. If you don't want to see the spoilers, just look away. Just look away. Just look away right now. And then on the back end, on the walkway that you go towards Guardians, that's where you'll see the shows with Black Widow and Black Panther, and they are fighting bad guys. You know, to be honest, I don't really know what the storyline was because I was just like getting my drink from the bar, and then we were like, everyone was like, whoa, and they turned around and looked.
Let's try this again. Who sent you? An old friend.
Please introduce our guest.
The Taskmaster. Origin unknown. Be ready. Taskmaster has the ability.
Looking for this?
Not today.
You know how this ends.
So that was pretty cool, but it was nice to see Black Widow and Black Panther, and everyone was enamored and watching everything that they were doing. So very cool. Let's talk about food. So as I mentioned, we got the shawarma, which, like I said, delicious, but I also wanted to get a little drink. So I went to the PIMS tasting lab. It's a bar. So it's actually really, really cool. There's a circular bar, and if this wasn't COVID times, and if it wasn't like, you know, the grand opening where everyone and their mother is there, I think it would be a really cool place to chill. But I did mobile order ahead of time at 8 in the morning. I anticipated what I wanted. Now, I will say, I kind of regret my choice because it basically was a hard seltzer with some boba balls, but they didn't have boba straws. So I just drank like a hard seltzer out of a cup, which that in itself was weird. And then there were boba balls at the bottom that I had to chug, and then they weren't delicious. I ended up tossing them. However, I did get this super fun cup. Yes, so that's cool. PIM Technologies, it also has the milliliters on it. So I don't know if I want to be baking something. I guess that's pretty cool. So this is my souvenir. I didn't buy anything when I was there, so this is really all I got. I think that's all of my recap of the day. I thought the land was really cool. I liked it better than Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, but I think that's because I am more into Marvel than I am Star Wars. Do I love both? Yes. But with the Marvel, there's so many different characters and so many different storylines that blend together, and I thought that this was a really fun new experience to have in DCA. I will say, here are my final tips. So to recap, my first tip is get the boarding group, because you should not wait in that line just to go into the land and ride Guardians and see it, because you can't get on Webslingers. So like I said, a minute before, pull down and hold. Then as soon as it turns 7 or noon, depending on which time you're trying to get, then let go. That's when it will refresh. Click, 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 click. Just click. I promise you, it'll work and you'll get one. Second thing, if you want to eat food in there, which you probably do, because why wouldn't you want to eat food? Food is life, food is everything. I would get on the mobile ordering as soon as park opens and just keep checking until they open up the windows, and try and aim for around when you're getting in. If you have a morning boarding group, the best thing to do would just get a noon one. If you have a morning boarding group, the odds are you're probably going to stay in that land until at least noon, so noon would be perfect time. If you're trying for an afternoon one, maybe aim for a 5 o'clock food window picked up, okay? That's mine. Please make sure you go on, order the food ahead of time. Otherwise, you're not gonna be able to get any food and you're gonna be really, really sad. Tip number 3, stick around, watch the shows. There are a lot of things going on and you kind of never know what's going on because on the app, it doesn't tell you, it doesn't say it on the map. If you wanna know, ask the cast members when people are coming out. But I will say the cast members that are in the land are very apt to be at least warning you, watch out, someone's coming through, or look up. For example, when the Spider-Man show was gonna happen, we were walking to go get a photo pass taken in front of the big Avengers Campus sign. And I was like, what's going on? And one of the cast members, dressed up in her, I don't know if they were shield or sword, I don't know what they were, but she was dressed up and she was like, just look up. That's all she said, very cryptically, and I was like, oh, okay. And then, of course, I look up and there's Spider-Man flipping over. So cast members are really excited to share this stuff with you too, so watch out for the shows. Otherwise, just really enjoy your time. You gotta wake up early. If you're at home, just try and get those boarding group. Okay, so I think that's all the advice I have for you. I don't know. If you have any questions, message me down below, but Get the Webslingers boarding pass, follow my instructions, order your food early, don't wait in that long line, watch the shows, the ride is cool, and Guardians is a walk-on, so that's dope. Take lots of pictures and have fun. And if you can't get there now, it'll be there in a year, it'll be there in 2 years, and the other ride will probably be open, so don't worry. Just watch my video and live vicariously, I guess. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye. Dee's extra magic moments. Dee's extra magic moments. By shooting your webs at them. So when you do this, a web comes out and you can feel, not feel it, you can, with your,
My friends, we can't